Thank you for joining us again on another episode of Stealing Immortality, the Old Ways Twitch channel, Vampire the Dark Ages Chronicle. We're back with another tale. I have an amazing cast for you to sit and experience your time with, and we're glad to have you here. So at the top of the show, I always like to let you know that as a World of Darkness game, this is considered a game for mature audiences. It's super important you understand that. So if you've got tiny children around, this might not be the best thing to have in the background, just FYI. And we'd like to thank our Patreon supporters who are very happily engaged with. But as an addendum to that, thank you for Patreon supporters. We are fate free tonight, which means no hands of fate will be allowed in game. So save your points and engage with us next time and maybe spend one or two. Who knows? There's a lot out there to be spent. I have some in my back pocket, which I may use tonight. And so I would like to get to introductions, which begin to my right.
Hi, this is Morgan. I'm playing Genevieve de Montfort. And I am part of Clan La Sombra. And I'm an Old Ways podcast cast member, and I do all sorts of things and all that fun. And I'm feeling a little just hyped today. So here we go.
Fabulous. And next to Genevieve.
Hi, I'm Bunny. I play the Toreador vampire Emerenzia. Our pronouns are she, her. And I am not looking forward to getting back to the Dama's village.
Not? Why?
Because I'm bringing an earthquake in my bodice with me. So
There's so many ways we could go there. We'll just leave that as it lies and let the viewers interpret it. Next to Emerenzia.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I play Ophelia Sellos. I'm a cast member on the Old Ways podcast, and I'm ready to be out of this dress, and I'm ready to get back to my master.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I think you might have to wait for both, but we'll see how it goes. And joining us this evening.
Hi, I'm Syrinx, she, her, and tonight or this time zone, I have the ultimate pleasure of playing Thea Killigrew, also she, her.
Fantastic. I look forward to seeing Thea arrive. So we are going to raise the curtain tonight back in the city of Constantinople as the carriage that our trio reside in is very quickly making its way back to the villa of the Dama, Adelaide, a Toreador kindred of some renown, known to all of them, but known especially to Emerenzia. And there is a quaking that continues to happen deep within your body. You can feel that tremor beneath the wheels of the carriage and almost in your core. You can still hear the whispers of that voice, that trailed voice that sort of assaulted you in a way inside the chantry of Teresa's. His voice leaves something of an impression. It is still the same night. It is still just past midnight when the carriage arrives. You see that there are a couple of horses, saddled horses, that are outside, just waiting outside the Dama's villa. And just as he had before, the Dama's faithful retainer steps out, places the small stairs, and then helps you down, each one of you, provided you allow it, helps you down from the side of the carriage. Retainers at the doors open them and invite you inside.
I grabbed the prisoner because he's still with us, hopefully.
He is.
And I, yank him out of the carriage unceremoniously.
Okay. He hits the ground pretty hard. You can see the dust from the stones sort of spray outward. And he tries to get to his feet.
I'll ask one of the many staff here that's in the foyer to get the Dama, because I'm worried about proceeding too far into the house.
Okay, they nod and turn and head deeper into the villa. You see that they very quickly reach the far side of the room where there is this long and winding staircase, which you are very familiar with, that goes up to the upper levels. And you see something quite telling. You see that this retainer does not stop at the second floor, continues to go all the way up to the third floor. So they must be having to go get to the Dama in her private chambers. Which gives us a wonderful opportunity to move the camera. We'll do so to a private bedchamber, which is resplendent and decked with marble and a beautiful bathtub. This bathtub is full of a luxurious and scented mixture, a concoction, really. Steam rises out of it, and there is a pale figure residing inside of it. For you, this is, well, it was supposed to be a social call. You are standing outside the tub, near the balcony window, addressing a very politically powerful person in Constantinople who you're seeking something from. The Dama Adelaide is a social powerhouse amongst many of the artists within Constantinople. She's also well connected to many different political factions, including many of the trade and customs liaison officers that Clan Ventru hold. If there is someone who could surreptitiously get your problem resolved, she's likely one of them. You called on her a few hours ago, and when you arrived, she was mid-bath, and it would be rude to interrupt someone, and so you waited. And so she spent some time, and as did her many retainers, in servicing her in that bath, making sure that she is prepared for the evening, even though the evening is, well, half over. She draws out of the water, and as she does, her elegant but not tall form exits out onto the marble floor, and she is wrapped in a beautiful piece of cloth. We're just beautiful inlay work on it, and these series of roses that have been woven into the garment accentuate a naturally curved woman. When there is a small chime at the far side of the room, she doesn't turn, she doesn't look. She continues forward towards you. With the bath finished, we can get to our business.
Could have taken as long as you needed.
You see the far doors, the double doors behind her open, and you see a figure step through. They don't interrupt either one of you. They don't come close. They stick to the side of the wall and begin talking with another one of her retainers.
So you're the person I hear that I'm desperately going to need here.
When I heard about your trouble, I must admit it was difficult not to perhaps chuckle at the idea, especially given your sire and how uniquely different the two of you are.
My situation made you chuckle because I have a sire that's the complete opposite of me.
Yes, if there was one thing that I know about him, it's that he wouldn't break the rules. And then I would think, What's the fun in that? But no matter, you have a need, and I'm more than happy to assist if I can.
See, if someone here is breaking any rules, and I put a hand on my chest in like a feigning innocent move, it certainly isn't me, ma'am. Because my ship was taken from me and held in custody right now without me doing any wrong whatsoever.
Hmm.
I simply wish to retrieve it and my crew with it so we can get the hell out, as you would say.
Reasonable conclusion. I, for one, don't like the idea of, well, property being claimed that isn't rightfully someone else's. You feel the ground shake underneath your feet just slightly. It's unsettling. You can see that the Dama notices it as well. But she doesn't break stride. She gets a little closer to you. Can I offer you something? A libation. She gestures to a row of people.
If you're going to share it with me, how could I ever say no, Dama?
Good. You see the same figure who walked into the room at the far side eventually make their way down to about halfway through the room and stop. And there's this almost imperceptible, but your senses are super sharp. And you see the change in her body language. And she turns and says, Merrick, what is it? Stop dithering. And then this man, he's probably in his 50s, well-dressed, very purposely and quickly walks over to her. Doesn't get within, say, maybe 10 feet or so of her. He says, Dama, there is a disturbance at the front door. Morenzi has returned, and she fears to step into the house fully. And this is really when you see some concern fall over her. Very well. See to our guest. And
Is there trouble you need assistance to?
I appreciate the offer. Well, let me inquire with my child as to what the issue is, and then perhaps we will discuss, an exchange. But please, she gestures towards the various ghouls that are lined up along the side of the villa wall.
Ever gracious of you, I will be waiting right here.
She turns and walks from the room swiftly. Down below, I'd like to know, Genevieve, are you dragging the prisoner inside, or are you just leaving him on the streets here?
Well, I'm going to have a hold of him.
Hmm?
I won't drag him inside until it's okay to drag him inside. I'm not going to just bust through the front doors of the Dama's villa with a prisoner. That would be very inappropriate.
When I see Genevieve leaving this man tied up with a sack over his head on the doorstep where it's well lit, I will be like, come here, and get her just inside the front door. Because I feel like our staff are the only people I really want to see.
Yes.
This bound and sacked man.
And you'd be well aware that the streets around, especially in this district, are really well patrolled.
Yeah.
Okay. By the time you have him up and towards the door, you are eventually, put face to face with your sire, who is in a state, dressed in only her bathrobe, essentially, something that works as a bathrobe. Her dark hair is wet She must have just come out of the bath. She's radiant as always. The only sun which you are still allowed to bathe in its light of arrives at the doorstep.
Um,
And she looks concerned.
so this will be easier because I was wearing one of her dresses with a more plunging neckline. But I will pull down like the front of my dress just enough for her to see the top of the vial. And I'll go, this experiment went wrong. I am sure you feel that too. Referencing to the tremors that I'm assuming are still centered on me.
You felt two of them since you've been standing here.
Mm.
You should come inside, all of you. Get off the street.
I'm worried about the tremors in the house. It was shaking Teresa's place fiercely. I'm not sure if the cracks in the foundation of her villa are going to happen here as well. And I didn't know what to do.
We shall deal with it. Just come inside and get off the street before the guards see you.
I shuffle inside.
All of you.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this?
The man who stabbed me in the back. I'll gesture to the bruising that I left there for dramatic storytelling.
Sure. All right. Yes, you did leave a bruise.
He tried to assassinate Teresa and steal this, but we stopped him. He's after the vial, so I wasn't sure if you'd want to know more before he was dispatched. So we brought him. We just left his poisoned dagger with Teresa to figure out why I was oozing and frothing from the stab wound. But it also feels like a conversation for somewhere that isn't the front door. I'm sorry.
It is. Exactly. Not the front door. Zechariah, take him downstairs. Find him. And then she does her best, not even to wring out her hair, but she sort of collects it. And then she says, I am entertaining a guest upstairs. You will join us. She just makes like a sweeping motion with her hand at the three of you.
I will fall in step just behind her and to the right, which just sort of feels like the natural state of being almost next to her, but just a little behind. Dama, do you really want me to bring this vial to whatever guest you're entertaining? I mean, it is where the tremors are centered on.
The guest has an issue of their own, one which we may be able to assist them with. And more importantly, one we may be able to trade a service.
Oh.
She continues to walk up the stairs. You can tell that she's eager to get back to her room.
Sure.
She walks back in, Thea, and I'd love to know what, do you take your feeding opportunity?
I was about to say, yes, I would love for her to come in and depending on how this room is decorated, I would love to be lounging somewhere with like one of the ghouls, getting them to like laugh a little and being like all flirty with them as they enter.
Yeah. So this room has a couple of, actually several different spaces. It's actually pretty long. So it's about 40 by say 80 to 100. It's a Romanesque villa that this is patterned after, as many of the architecture pieces in Constantinople were. And so basically the larger the homes, usually the more rectangular they built. And so there's a lot of different areas. There's an entire sitting area here that is basically like long couches and pillows that are meant for relaxation.
Absolutely. Then that is exactly where you will find Thea lounging on it with one of the ghouls who she fed from and is now kind of entertaining herself with. Um, who you see, maybe that's a good thing to
Yes.
say,
Let me see.
is a taller, pale woman. She has long, kind of unruly blonde hair, a white blouse that has like a very deep cut and is accentuated by a brown corset and a skirt that is normally already pretty hiked up, but now in the position that she's in, she's like barely almost flashing you with how much hiked up it is right now. She has a headband around her head as well, and I think everything about her screams pirate to you.
Yeah. It's a pretty apt description, I think.
As they enter, as the door opens again, I will look up from where I'm laying and say, Dama, are you joining us?
Yeah.
You brought guests.
Indeed, I have. She strides in, and you see a retainer from the side, one side of the room, begins to walk towards the Dama a little bit, and you watch her in like a singular motion unwrap herself from this, for lack of a better term, this bathrobe, and basically fling it at him as she walks towards a dressing area. Formal introductions in a moment. This is, well, a friend of a friend.
Pleasure is all mine. Please don't talk all at once. And she raises a hand to give a little wave. She says, I'm Thea, by the way.
Greetings, Thea. If you're a friend of a friend of the Dama, then the warmest of welcomes. I'm Marenzia. I am the Dama's child. And she'll do like a small bow. She would usually do a deeper one, but there's something she wants to not have fall out of her dress. So you get a stilted, slight bow.
The Dama dresses super fast. Go ahead, Ophelia.
I was just going to introduce myself and say that I'm Ophelia Salos. That's all.
I do not introduce myself. I just nod at her.
And the quiet one is my friend as well. These two have become quick acquaintances of mine and tend to help me when I need it.
Yes.
I'm already hearing your life story. How wonderful.
The Dama comes back dressed in something a little new. It's more of a blouse than it is like an actual dress that you might wear. It has cuffed sleeves that stop above the elbow, and it's got a lot of places where it seems to like draw together with cord or string. There are basically panels of fabric. That's it. It's sort of like a corset, but has an upper piece that goes to it. And below it, she wears something reasonably courtly enough to probably pass for a dress, although that's really just a piece of fabric probably wrapped around her body. And she comes back over. It gives her a lot of freedom of movement, and she definitely seems to need this at the moment. She comes back and sits on one of the chairs in the sitting area as the couple of ghouls nearby sort of revel in the idea of being close to the Dama. And certainly it seems close to Thea, who there may have been some previous entertainment there. You're not sure. Genevieve or Enmarosa, you would notice that the bath is still full. So that sort of lines up.
Yeah.
So tell me, child, what took place with the Tremere? What was gleaned, discerned?
So she tasted it. Just from the amount missing, not a lot, but she tasted it, which I heard from his voice. Unfortunately, it is who we thought it was. And a voice after the tremor started said, "The blood has been tasted, the secret told. Soon I will need to wake. My wrath wakes with me." Something to that effect. Boomed sort of through the air, though Teresa seemed like she was looking right at him. She was watching something that wasn't there pace through the room and looked mesmerized, terrified, all the things you'd expect from what I'm assuming she saw. After going to experiment and see whose it was, she also smelled like him, which, you know, that floral smell
I
when
do.
he's around. That was also on her. And while she couldn't say exactly whose it was, just the generation, all those pieces of information together line up.
I will need to make some important decisions. You all feel the villa shake, just slightly.
The shaking hasn't stopped since her experiment.
Let me tell you a story. A short one, as the Dama points over towards Thea. There is a pressing matter which I will have you attend to. Our muse has had lovers over his lifetime, as all kindred tend to. He has shared beds with many, but only very few have been so close enough to him as to garner the love and adoration of taking and holding his blood. Elders like Michael can sleep for hundreds of years. Their power is so strong that they need so much to stay active. Truly, if he needed to, he could genuinely feed for hours without wait. In these states, when a kindred slumbers for too long, there are ways to rouse them back to consciousness if the need arose. And so many centuries ago, Michael gave of himself into these vials. These vials were placed into the careful hands of a lover at one point. And then, as the mystery was told, they were stolen and then came to be within the villa of Epirus, an Antonian Ventru. He sought to use them as political power and leverage over Michael by aligning himself with members of the Tremere who, although they are young, have great grasps over the blood. They have these thaumaturgical rituals. They can control people. What the Ventru wanted was control over the dream, without understanding that the dream was already broken. Something which some of us are becoming to understand. If Michael is going to wake, and if this voice was him who said that his wrath will follow, anyone who has touched that blood could be held responsible. And so, I believe it may be within your best interest to work away from Constantinople.
I see.
I fear I've put you in grave danger. I will go to my sire, and I will return the blood, in hopes that he will understand and take it to those who protect the dreamer. The assassin is evidence enough that the secret has been told. For if the forces of the Banu Kim are able to grasp this blood, they too could find and target Michael directly.
Well, that does seem like the best course of action. She will look visibly shaken by this information for a moment, and then take a deep breath and adjust herself, and a wry smirk will appear on her face, and she'll go, "You know that for you, danger is my second favorite thing to flirt with.
Mm-hmm.
So if you needed me to do this and then depart on some travels for you to get out of the way until we figure this out, I would do that for you.
Oh, no.
I don't regret going on these missions for you, to be clear, even if it does put me in grave danger, or that should he wake and find me at fault for having been included in this and handled this blood so very many times, I still probably would have done it for you again. Let's be fair. I don't know if I would change that choice. So. Just tell me what to do next.
Hand me the vial.
She'll just pull that straight out of her bosom from layers of fabric and hand the tremoring vial to her.
So you see the vial and it placed into her hand. I wonder, Genevieve, how do you feel about this?
Seeing as part of my mission was to take a vial of blood back to my sire, or whoever I think my sire is.
Right.
Since we still don't know.
Well, I know, but...
Well, yeah, you know. I'm feeling a tad bit frustrated. So I'll step forward with the greatest of respect towards the Dama, because she could break me in two. And I'd probably be fine with that. But when I lower my head, Dama, I mean no disrespect to you. But I was sent here to gather a vial of blood to take back to the bishop.
Truly. What
is there? Oh, I'm sorry.
What designs would Clan the Somber have on this blood?
Well, knowing what it contains now, well, we already have control over the shadows. So having control over one more thing. Control over Michael, because that's what this allows, does it not?
Potentially. Tell me, child, do you know how powerful someone who is 4 steps from Cain is?
A lot more powerful. A lot more powerful than I am.
A lot more powerful than the bishop is. Power works in exponentials in this case. And so if mathematics were not taught to you, I would just say 2 to 3 times as powerful. And given what I know of the bishop and his strength, that seems a dangerous game to play. Although, I do respect, of course, their desire for it. That I don't begrudge them the desire, but I also don't wish to see any more of Constantinople burned, and certainly not by a benefactor, a hero once of this city, turn into a monster when his wrath is unleashed.
And she's speaking of Michael.
And she is.
Is there something else I could take back to the bishop that would quell his thirst? No pun intended. Or maybe pun intended. For this blood. Information, an item.
Yes, but not without a fair exchange. Service for service, yes?
Did I not just service you? I thought that I was owed something in return. And now Genevieve might be a little bit more forward.
Might a little bit.
Just a smidge. And again, I mean, deepest respects to you. And, you know, this time I get down on one knee, as you do. If I do not bring something back to my bishop soon, they will send somebody to look for me.
No, I can imagine all sorts of people that might be sent here. Very well. I shall give you something, child, to assuage the bishop's concern. Perhaps they will think they have something which they do not. A small price to pay, especially as I do not wish to seek your destruction.
I do not seek my destruction as well, Dama. Thank you. Ever gracious you are.
Indeed. And now, the final matter of tonight, I believe. The building shakes again. My friend here, she gestures to Thea on the couch, is in a weary state after losing something very important to them. There is a ship in harbor which has been captured by various Ventru-supported customs agents. Am I to understand that the crew is also in prison somewhere? She turns to you.
With air quotations, being held currently. Yes.
Very well. Very well. Then I give you, she turns just ever so slightly to Emerenza, your next thrill. I need some assistance in freeing these men who are chained. She cocks her eyebrow and stares over at you, Ophelia. They need freedom. And Thea here needs her ship back. In exchange, I require Emerenzia to be able to board the vessel and leave Constantinople by water.
Just the one?
Well, I leave the rest of that up to the others. It goes without saying that Michael is waking. The city will not be safe
Well, if I'm going to be leaving on a ship like yours, she'll turn to you, Merkin, then I think I'm going to need much more seaworthy outfits. As she gestures to how you dress. I don't think I'll be needing to dress as if I'm going to some gala for quite some time.
Oh, you absolutely can, sweetie. The crew will just have a baller with it. You'll do it one night. I don't think you'll do it a second night.
Dama, I'll take my broken harp off my back. It was destroyed by the assassin when he stabbed me. May I leave with another at least?
You may. You may. Before you take up with the freeing of this ship, should you need any of my herd, please make use of them.
Tonight has been draining. That would be lovely. Thank you, Tom.
Of course. Well, you have at least one. Are there any other takers?
I don't plan to leave
Oh my
unless
It's okay, go ahead.
I don't plan to leave unless it is at the behest of my master. In which case, I will do everything I can to convince him to come with me. Or unless I pose a direct threat if, say, the tremor follows me home when I am not in Immerencia's presence. In which case, I will inform him that for the safety of him in the villa, I would need to depart unless he commands me otherwise. But his needs come first and foremost for me. As I'm
or
sure
hear
you're
me
aware.
out. Hear me out. Crazy idea. Ophelia, was it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Crazy idea. But listen for a second. Or you do whatever you want to. Weird, right? To not follow a master. To make your own decision.
But that is what I want.
Easy to say that. It's not really at all. If your decisions all depend on someone else. Is it really your own decision then?
Yes. Because I'm sure that if I asked, he would release me from his service. He has given me freedom that I would never have had without it. And
If he gave you...
He is also a very willing and giving man. I give myself to him freely.
A gilded cage is still a cage, darling, but you can choose to believe whatever you want to. Still a spot free if you decide to make your own decision, though.
Ramsey is going to lean real close to the Dama and say, "Ooh, I do like this one."
She just sort of nods approvingly.
Thea looks your way and winks. So, and she will turn to the one person who she doesn't even know the name of. Want a spot across the seas, or you're good here with all the destruction?
Is my mic working again?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, great. What's going on? I don't know anything about you. Why would I ride next to somebody I don't know? Fight next to somebody I don't know?
Oh, you can swim. You can swim next to the ship even if you want to. You don't have to come aboard if that's your problem. But if you want out of the city, I'm afraid we're going to have to bond a little while we do some stealing from the Ventru.
Genevieve. Maybe I can speak your language a little bit better. and she'll take Genevieve's hands, one of her hands in both of Emeranzi's hands. Genevieve, after what you witnessed Michael do to Antonio, as if it was nothing, as if it was the most minor thing he had ever done, and you might be caught up in that also, for a taste of power more than you currently have, wouldn't you rather strike out with me somewhere and forge your own power, probably more measurable than the bishop would let you have elsewhere? Or is it really better to have Michael do to you what you witnessed happen to Antonio? Really? Think about it.
She looks at Emeranzia and
Thea leans across to the one retainer still with her and does the exact same as Emeranzia just did and says like, ooh, I like this one.
I look over at Thea, kind of scowl a little. You make a good point, Emeranzia. There are 1,000 places I could rule. I mean, forge to. And utilizing the services of... What did you say your name again was? Teresa?
Teresa was the scientist we were
Sam?
just with. Be nice.
She actually dislodges herself from the retainer and makes like an overly dramatic bow with a little hand twirl down, showing way too much as she does, obviously. And she does the bow and says, Thea Killigrew at your service, your captain if you decide to join my little journey.
Captain. Okay. Yeah, wherever these two go, I go. We forged a bond as acquaintances. I look over at Emeranzia.
You're more than just an acquaintance to me, and the seas will be much more pleasant with you with me.
I know.
But in certain circumstances, we have also been somewhat of a business acquaintance kind of relationship in addition to other things. So acquaintance isn't entirely wrong in certain circumstances, my dear friend.
That's true. And I turn and look at the Dama. Dama, you have our prisoner.
I do.
Are we able to question him?
I doubt there will be time for such dalliances, unfortunately. I will need to leave the villa and attend to these vials quickly. Plus, I have to make sure that you have something to deliver back to the bishop.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And the night is not long.
That's what she said. All right. I turn and look at Thea. Captain, what are your orders? You said they were stealing. Are we saving your crew? Are you...
Perfect. You're all already on board. Makes it so much easier. So, two things. First of all, you are all gonna help me free up my crew, who are currently being held for questioning, but we'll get around that, I'm sure. And then secondly, we'll get my ship back from the snidey little Ventru who are keeping it right now. Once we have the ship, we can leave. Easy as that.
plan like that?
I am fine with that plan and doing whatever we need to prepare. With how much tonight's taken out of me, I will need to feed before I leave. But I think that also gives Ophelia plenty of time, hopefully, to go talk to her sire. If nothing else, to let him know that she might be leaving, it would be time for any of us to gather anything that we need to take with us.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this choice for Ophelia.
No, that's good. Because she wouldn't let you.
Yeah, for sure. We can do this sort of in a montagey way. So we can say for any of our trio that need to feed, which is likely a couple of you, you can be feeding right during this time. And then we can sort of move camera and be with Ophelia as she speaks with her master Kalias at at their residence. So we'll sort of smash cut over and have Ophelia walking into the her haven. You can tell that there's a smell here on the air in your master's home that is earthy. It's like fresh soil. A couple of his retainers are still working on some of the cleanup work, still beautifying or putting things back where they need to be, mostly bookshelves.
Yeah, the place to get pretty wrecked. So
It did. He is working in his study. He seems to be furiously penning something to parchment.
Master Dukas, may I disturb you for a moment?
Of course. Have you noticed the tremors in the city?
Yes, Master. It's things have gotten complicated.
What is this complication? He puts his pen down.
And I will bow my head because it's like I didn't make the choice, right? Like I didn't make the choice to taste it and all that, but
No. You've arrived in the principal's office. Here we are.
Yeah, it's how it feels. Yeah. Well, when you sent me to the Dama to find out, if it was possible for me to, through more social graces, get to Genevieve, as payment, I was bid to go with Emerenzia to visit a Tremere. What Emerenzia retrieved for the Dama were vials of blood. This Tremere opened it and tasted it.
I see.
And the vials belonged to Michael.
He looks exceedingly concerned. His eyes get wide. He takes in something which he does not need, which is a really big breath.
During our visit, we could all hear him speak about how the blood has been tasted and how he will rise and he will bring his wrath with him. And that was when the tremors started.
He stands up.
The Dama currently has a visitor, a pirate, and her crew is in custody right now. And she is hoping to task me with helping free them, which I would prefer to do because people should not be in chains. But there was also an offer of putting me on the ship and me going.
He nods. He begins to move around the room a little bit. You see him collecting a couple of things. He collects a few sheets of paper, that are rolled up in like a scroll case and puts them in a satchel, and then a small bag of what sounds like coins. And then he sort of ties it really tight and puts it on the table.
I don't wish to depart.
He puts a hand up. If Michael's wrath is coming, there are no kindred in the city which can be saved from it. There is no...
Then are you coming with me?
Someone must stay to ensure people get out. There will be a call for a defense. There will be kindred placed in spots within the city to ensure that when Michael wakes and arrives, that sense could potentially be spoken to him. I have spoken with him before. We are known to one another. Someone must do this. Bloody wolf. He sort of pounds the table a little bit. He was in here earlier. Thomas spoke of a concern. He said that the earth, something felt wrong. He turns around and sort of looks at you and says, we must learn to trust our allies. The Gangrel know when things are afoot far before the rest of us. Free the crew. Assist this pirate in any way. I will find that ship. I will find you.
Understood.
You see him move to like another side of the room, and he takes a hand and just sort of shoves a ton of like loose paper into this container. Years of records, that all of his speeches from the Senate, and he's sort of stuffing them into this box as best he can. And then he turns and walks back to you and grabs your shoulders and says, "Why are you still standing here?" I need you to leave.
And I will leave. And I will go back to the Dama.
You can hear him weeping on the way out.
Oh, yeah, me too. Don't worry.
So what we're going to do, fam, is we're going to take a break. And so while we break, make sure you do your own version of self-care, whatever that might be, hydrate, etc. And so we'll take a short break, let ads roll as these things move along, and we'll be back with the next scene. Alrighty. Welcome back. Thanks for sitting through the ads. For those of you who haven't had a chance to reach out and support the show, obviously this is a wonderful way to do so through Twitch. But you can also support the show at patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. We have an entire podcast side of audio adventures and shenanigans that we get up to. You're welcome to check us out over there too. But we will go back to Constantinople now, a turbulent city now. We will hone back in at the villa after the return of Ophelia. So in the interim, Genevieve, you have been, if it is within your desire to, you have been allowed to feed from the Dama's herd, which can produce enough blood points to likely get you back up to full. If you're careful about what the blood that you take. For player knowledge, it's important to understand that humans have 10 points of blood within their entire body. Over your time as a ghoul and also your time as a fledgling member of Kindred Society, you've learned obviously that you don't want to take all of the blood from someone's body because that doesn't work out really, really well usually. So if you need more than, say, 5 points of blood to get back to your maximum, then the Dama would certainly want you to take from multiple people there within her herd.
I don't
only
know.
need 2 to get back to my max.
Okay. Emerenzia might be a little different, I think.
Yeah, I might have used a few blood points last week, so I will feed from the inner thighs of a few of the herd.
Mm-hmm. I assume then, Thea, you're not going anywhere while the feeding is happening. You're probably just lounging, waiting for the rest of your, potential crew to get going.
Yes, and for time's ease, I will not make a big scene of anything. Although I do imagine that Thea isn't the quiet type that just sit there for like 2 hours and say nothing. So she would be talking, trying to have some conversation.
Certainly. Yeah.
Probably a little flirty towards both the Dama, if she stays, and Emerenzia.
Yeah. The Dama stays for a little while to stay within societal norms as far as visiting with the guest. But she does slip away at one point, eventually returning. When she does return, Genevieve, she places a small but supple leather bag into your hand. It's probably no more than, no bigger than your fist. And she says, "This should suffice for what your bishop is expecting. He won't be able to discern the depths of it likely himself, and so there will be some time before he understands the ruse. But you will have fulfilled your place, your purpose, your mission to him. You can simply say that it isn't the blood they thought it was, and that'll be true."
I look into the small satchel.
Except there's a vial of blood in there.
Dama, can I ask whose blood is in there?
Oh, let's not trouble yourself with such knowledge. It's kindred blood, and that is the important part. And it is a member of Clan Toreador, which, if tasted by someone who, say, is learned in thaumaturgy, does line up with the city's progenitor, Michael. And so it is Toreador blood, just not the one they're looking for.
That sure was a non-existent Morgan voice.
It was. I think.
Yes.
I think Morgan said thank you, but
I did say thank you. Can you hear me?
I can.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What the fuck is that? I'm undoing it.
I know.
I-
You're okay.
We saw you unmute,
Uh-huh.
silently mouth thank you, and then
Yeah,
mute
so
again.
weird.
So
I've gotten
I'll-
really good at reading lips. It's really just practice. It's a benefit to us, really.
Be
Yeah.
like,
Oh, really?
we're,
Oh, we're going into ASMR mode
didn't
now.
know
that.
Okay.
you want to know what I call ASMR?
No,
Yes, you do.
not on stream.
No.
This feels like something that can go in chat in a second
Yes,
here.
Certainly,
when
or
we're-
in our Power and Reflection series, which is available to all of our Patreon members.
Hang on, let me write that down.
Yes, which is exclusive to Patreon members. After the show, we're going to record a little bit for just our patrons who get to see the behind the scenes stuff, which are fun. But be that as it may, the Dama, when she returns, is as socially friendly as one could expect. She does seem to spend time with Emerenzia, a little bit more time with Emerenzia as she's feeding. Like, your hair gets braided. There's a lot of just really loving things that happen. She makes sure that you have a herd member that have had maybe a little bit of wine tonight to ease some of the tension in your body. She makes sure that you are going to smell right, all sorts of different things. She does this at the same time as she's carrying on conversations with you, Thea. So it doesn't seem to be out of her purview to sort of be a little bit of everywhere.
So, what is it that I can expect from the two of you?
I think that, not to speak out of turn for my friends, she's going to say very pointedly towards Genevieve. Not to speak out of turn for my friends, but I would dare say that I'm usually better for distractions, entertainment, social graces, whereas my friends are equal parts muscles and shadows. So I think if it's extracting your crew from where they're being held currently, we can use that dichotomy to our advantage. When it comes to getting your ship, I guess it depends on how you'd like your ship liberated. But I would dare say that it just depends on how much you want anyone to have seen a face at all in this process, on whether I'm going to be the strongest card or if it'll be Genevieve that you'll want to introduce first. Or, but we've worked together a few times now for varying levels of liberating things from places where they need to be removed from. And every time it's gone well enough. We're all still here. And since the first time we did it, we were all ghouls together. We've only gotten better at it since, I would dare say. So you can expect tonight for us to do everything within our collective powers to liberate all of the people that you are responsible for on your crew and your vessel itself. And in the future, you can expect me to keep your crew pretty entertained, because I'm not sure exactly how I'll handle the same audience day after day on the open seas. But we'll take
You
good care of you.
do. You'll take good care of me. I feel flattered. You do like to talk a whole lot, and that suits you. There's a lot of kindred who like to talk a whole lot, and all they say is gibberish. So that's pretty impressive, actually. And I do have to admit, I admire the fact that you've been working together as ghouls for a long time. It seems to forge a kind of bond that you only get through reclaiming stuff that is supposed to be reclaimed.
I'm going to focus on all the compliments and not on the fact that you might have just said that I speak gibberish.
I think you've been misreading every single little thing I've been doing and saying in the past few hours if you think that was my message towards you, darling.
No, I think I read you loud and clear, and I think it's going to be very interesting to be out on the water with you.
Well, you're already used to these tremors, so being on the water won't be that much different.
So, Ophelia, upon arrival, there's a couple things that you'd have noticed. One, the tremors in the city seem to be getting worse, and they didn't cease when you made your way to or from your master's house. They weren't necessarily centered on you, but they certainly didn't stop. And they didn't stop, for those of you in the Damasville, they didn't stop when she was gone either. So it's definitely seemingly a Constantinople thing rather than a personal thing.
Oh, I'll recover that last point of healing that I needed.
Yeah.
And then make up that blood point during this time also. Like,
That makes sense.
the
But
dramatic element was used, and I don't need that foil any longer.
that's right. Ophelia returns to the villa, and as she does, the Dama will stand up and welcome her back in.
Perfect. And I don't know, you tell us how much effort Ophelia would have put into the fact of hiding that she has been crying.
Oh,
Please
none.
do. Okay.
That's not her
Perfect.
style.
Perfect. So then when the Dama stands up, and Thea will also stand up and like believe that everyone is finally back, and she will notice the tear-stained face of Ophelia.
yeah.
And she'll be like, great. And then, oh, you look like a mess. I am sorry, honey. What happened to you?
I
I'm
step
being
in
sent
between
away.
them. Yeah, I step in between Ophelia and Thea. It's none of your business.
I'm not even going to pay attention to that interaction, and I'm just going to go offer Ophelia a hug. Wordlessly, just arms open, and if she nods, embrace her. Great. I will hug Ophelia and like lightly rub little circles on her back, which the Dama has done for me when I've needed soothing the last couple decades. And so it'll just come as like a gentle, soothing motion. I know, Ophelia. I'm not looking forward to this either.
It is a gift.
Let's get this done.
This life is a gift. We have time. We shall all be someplace soon together again. For now, there is a crew to rescue and a ship to claim. And if for whatever reason I should need a method of escape from this city, I will be looking for it. So make sure the ship's ready.
What is the name of your ship? Yeah.
You are free to name the ship if you would like.
Did you already? Yeah, I don't think you already had a.
No,
a
I didn't have a name for it. You have
established.
complete narrative control over the name of the ship.
Yeah. The name of the ship that we're going to go get back, and also an extension to name of my crew, is the Sea Wolf. Get used to the name. You're going to be saying it a whole lot if you're on board.
Most excellent.
As far as the emotions in this room goes, that's the one thing about being kindred, and especially blood-related relations. You're never quite rid of them unless it's final death. So if that's a blessing or a curse to you, let it be a reassurance at least. It'll always come back. How about we do a little heist?
Wonderful. We're experienced at that.
One might say too well.
I mean, doing it once is it makes us experienced.
It does, yes.
Very well. She leads you towards the front door after the long train of stairs and retainers.
Would it be reasonable to think that during the time preparing at all, I'd be able to grab like a couple things from my room to like have in a satchel with me? Great.
Yes, and she does provide you with a replacement harp. And like a leather baldric. So that we can stay together on your back a little easier.
Excellent.
The baldric, of course, like a seatbelt, really has only one place it can go.
Yeah. Very quietly just going to thank Adelaide and hug her. Well, this is see you later, not goodbye, whether it's later tonight or in months or years, but I'll see you later.
You will. I should expect that the Sea Wolf would take you back to the Mediterranean. If you're willing and interested, you should stop back in Athens. Avoid Italy as best you can.
Okay.
There are many interesting things in Europe. Many.
It'd be nice to see Athens again.
She embraces you first in a way which is somewhat calm. And then you feel like the pressure of your body's increase. And there's this deep sort of, I guess, there's an exchange which happens. It's an exchange of energy between the two of you. You feel your face is wet. And when you eventually come apart, there is this blood between the two of you. You know the taste. In a deft manner, she removes the blood from her eye and uses her thumb to put it in your mouth. I am never far from you, child.
No. Just think of how many great works of art related to you I will have by the next time you see me.
I had expect an entire gallery full.
Then you'll have it. So, yeah, a heist?
Ever gracious of you, Dama. It was a pleasure to meet you. And there will be a spot open if you did decide to join us.
I just may. It has been a while since I sailed.
we all might need a little distraction on board, but I'm sure that's not the only thing you could offer.
No, child, I have far more things to offer than just simple distractions.
And I think with that, I will leave with my newly accumulated crew members.
Mm-hmm. So there's a couple
Um,
things that you would know, Tia, just sort of like off the bat. You know roughly where your crew is being held. There is a location near the docks, a barracks essentially, where they would have been taken, and the majority of the crew members would have been effectively jailed, although it's not a traditional jail. You also would know that the Seawolf isn't far from there at all. It's really just about halfway up the docks in the quarter between where the Genovese docks are and then some of the other Spanish galleons would sit. So you know where you need to go.
Yeah. As we would start making our way there, I think you all came here by horse. If I'm correct. So we could totally take that mode of transportation back if that's easiest.
Carriage. I mean, a horse
Yes.
drawn. But
Okay. Yes. Then absolutely we could take your carriage. I would happily give instructions and act as if it was my own for the moment. And say, so, crew members, we will be going to the docks right now. I'm assuming once we've liberated my crew, it'll be a little bit easier to actually get the ship, which won't be far away from the location that we have it at. The only problem is, I guess, managing to get in with enough people so that we can get out with even more. See, so you, pointing to Emerencia, are the talker to distractions. And then you two are more of the brawlers / shadow controllers.
Yes.
Perfect. My suggestion. Do you think that with a distraction, you could both manage to get your way inside?
Aren't you coming with us?
Absolutely, but I think I might already just be inside to help. I have a very easy way to get in, you see. Very easy.
I lean in really close. Is it something beyond your good looks?
Oh, well, that and being wanted, obviously.
So we have to rescue you too. I see.
See, my idea is you already have some good looks and distraction in your team. You don't need two. What would be useful, however, is if I can get inside before you all and manage to get the message to my crew that we're going to be doing a little something something. Then, when you do your moves from the front, we can equally move from the back and just make it like a little tight squeeze for all of the guards that would be there.
Could work. I have some
I mean,
tricks.
you can share your ideas because if you're going to be on board with me, it does kind of mean that we're equals in all of this. You don't just have to follow orders. That's not what we're going to do here.
No, I think having somebody on the inside is a good start. I have some tricks up my sleeve that could help. Once we're in.
Okay. So the plan is then to take the carriage, which is still available to you, to back down towards the trade district in an attempt to, free some crew members, yes?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, the Dama's retainers are happy to drive the carriage down there. That's not an issue. It also keeps you off the street for the majority of the travel. And arrival in the harbor district at this hour, which is probably closer to about 2 a.m., is quite interesting. You don't think you've ever been down here this late. The streets are a lot tighter. There's crates and barrels and all manner of shipping goods that are out into the street. There are people every now and again that sort of wander this district. There's an awful lot of taverns and brothels and all manner of late night entertainment which exists down here. So there's a general mill. There's noise. There's much more motion down here than there is other places. You can even see that a couple of the ships are probably getting loaded ahead of a early departure. And so I'll place the four of you then in the harbor district near the building, but not too terribly near, so that you have your own method of walk up and set up, depending upon what your choices are.
Thea, do you know how well guarded this place is? Have you been here before?
I have not been here before. That is what I was about to say. I can try to listen how many pairs of footsteps I can hear. That's about the extent of scouting I can do before I actually go in. So if any of you have any tricks up your sleeves in terms of scouting, now would be the perfect time to reveal them.
Oh,
I'm
I
going to
got
look at
nothing.
my compatriots.
I mean, I can think of things, but certainly the players should come up with how they're going to get into this place.
Surely you shouldn't tell us just exactly what to do.
No,
That's
no,
kind
not my
of
game.
defeating the whole point of the game.
100%. I want to see
Michael,
how.
if you just want to slide into my Discord DMs really quick with a fully hatched heist plan, that'd be great, actually.
Just in case,
Just in case.
actually.
I just happen to have this fully hatched Discord plan. Oh, here you go. Oh, look at that. Imagine that. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a little bit more narrow description on the building itself, so maybe that will spark some
Please.
ideas. So the building is a single-story building. It is somewhat a squat structure. It is bereft of windows, other than those around some of the two sort of sturdy doors that make up the front. There are two armed men that stand outside the front. I would say that the entire structure is probably 20 by 40, give or take. So not a complete square, more a rectangle. There are posted signs that it is a customs and basically a customs house. So there could be anything in here from property to grains, any goods that have been seized by, the local customs agents. The building itself is made of stone. There are a few torches which give light. Those are mostly around the front door. And then the back side of the building is there's an alley, and it's sort of jammed up against another building, which is nearby, slightly taller than this one.
But no, like side or back entrances that I'm hearing.
Yeah, no side entrances, no back entrances that you see.
Depending on how well guarded it is inside, I could probably play a distraction to get at least one of you in. My concern would be getting everyone back out. So I suppose once people are freed, we'd have a lot more hands for suppressing whatever guards are there.
Depending on the state that they're all in, yes. However, we could assume the worst, that they have been tested a little bit, at least. I will actually, if we're in a safe distance where we can still talk like this, but we have a view of the building, I will hold up a finger and try to use for a second my heightened senses to maybe hear if I can hear the amount of footsteps right now, maybe a couple of voices to have some kind of estimate about how many people are at least in the front facing part of it.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make me perception awareness. You can augment that by the dots and aspects you have. If you have aspects.
So everything 6 and above is a success.
Yep.
And 10 is explode, so I can roll it again.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Four successes.
Awesome. So from what you hear, there are a couple people inside, and then there's an awful lot of like not murmuring voices, but what sound like quieter voices deeper within. You can make the assumption that that's likely crew members who are asleep at 2:00 in the morning. But there doesn't seem to be a ton of people here. There's probably a handful of total guards.
Okay. Lowering the hand again. From what I can hear right now, there's at least like a handful of people on duty right now. So I guess my suggestion would be, is it easier for you to slip in if there's a little commotion?
I'll look to the more both fighty and stealthy members of the party. Genevieve, Ophelia, thoughts?
Traction. A little bit more.
Sorry, Morgan, I caught like half that.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know what's going on. Again, I'll check my wires when we're done.
So what was your question?
Well, I'm wondering. We could even. I have dread gaze.
You
and
do?
We can use that.
You could.
It might just cause everybody in that building to flee and run versus us having to do anything.
Well, in general, so just a couple of things to sort of make sure that you're on the same page with your ability. So dread gaze is a single target. So you basically go up to someone and scare the crap out of them by fanging out. So you roar like a monster, your fangs come out, your eyes might turn colors. You scare the crap out of someone. This would not be a subtle use of your vampiric abilities in any way, shape, or form. We don't
Nope.
have a masquerade to worry about because the laws of the masquerade don't necessarily exist, but it is understood that humanity knowing about the members of the kindred is not great for kindred, because if a predator is known to be, it is likely that the populace would rise up against these predators. So totally within your power to use it. Fitting with the character might be a more dangerous route.
Or I could bring, once we're into the building, I could bring in some darkness. So as long as we know where you're being kept, Thea.
Actually, I have an idea for that. I could probably take one of you inside with me. You know, pretend to be the hero and all of that. The one who brought the big bad pirate back in.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's only going to work on one person, though, I think. That's the only believable one. So, who wants to go in with me? The rest of you will have to make your way in through the distraction.
I'm happy to go in with you. The faster the liberation, the better it is.
It's probably very hard for Emerenzia to not have her hand up immediately.
Yeah, I don't.
I started raising my hand too. I was like, okay.
But that's okay. I love that. Okay, so
I love the enthusiasm, all of you. Really great to see. But I guess then, Ophelia, you will go in with me. So we will try to make a little ruckus. You two, Emerencia, and I actually didn't get your name.
You can call me Marie.
Hey, Emerencia and Marie, you can get your way in through a little distraction, and then we'll try to push from both sides. Sounds good?
Yes.
okay.
Marie.
Great.
Does that
Because
sound good to you?
Sounds great. I think you and I will make a great team, Emerencia.
Okay, Marie. She's gonna try to sharpen that word every time she says it.
great. This is the moment where trust comes in. And she turns to Ophelia as well, and she takes Ophelia's hand and says, grab me by the throat and drag me inside. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, and I'll totally happily do that.
Okay. So Thea, she grabs you by the throat, and you might be slightly shocked at how strong this woman, this small framed woman is, because she picks you up with ease.
I like it.
My whole 4'10" stature. And yeah, I happily carry her inside.
Okay. You walk towards the building with her, I suppose. How are you carrying her by the waist, the neck, the shoulders? Like, how are you actually carrying her?
I actually have my hand around her throat and I'm shoving her forward.
Okay, I got you. All right. So you shove her forward. You get about halfway across this street. Granted, it's the middle of the night. There are two torches crackling nearby, and the guards who are, on duty do react to you coming closer. And one of them puts their hand out. Hey, slow down. Who are you? What are you doing here?
Get your fucking hands off of me, you bitch!
I have a pirate captain for you.
What?
I'd
Pirate.
swear if I get out of here, I will gut your fucking...
And I'm just gonna punch you in the face for effect.
Okay. So I love this. I want you to sell it, though.
I'm not. Yeah. Like, I still want to roll.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not trying to I don't want to use potence and inflict a lot of damage.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I
literally
appreciate that,
just for
actually.
show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
You can absolutely pull your potence. You can choose not to use your potence. You can do this two ways, I think. Because I like, and this is one of the reasons why I like the storyteller system, because you can be super flexible with it. Either you could use charisma and expression to, quote, sell the punch as an act. Or you can trust that you and T are both kindred, and any bashing damage that you might likely do with, Dex Brawl She can probably heal.
Oh yeah, no, I'm planning on just I'm not going to try to sell it because I'm not that great of an actor.
Okay.
So I'm just going to roll Dex Brawl and just punch you in the face like
for it.
real fast.
So roll Dex Brawl. Get at least a
Okay.
material success.
I have 2.
Okay.
Does my fortitude do anything against that?
Yeah, so it does. The fortitude will automatically step in. We don't have to systematically like roll damage. What I'm more concerned about is really 2 things. One, Thea knows the punch is probably coming because she'll see Ophelia cock her arm back and get ready to hit her. My question is are you going to sell your part of the deal? Because with fortitude, you're not going to take any physical damage. But my question is are you going to play like you do?
Absolutely. I think Thea is trying to lie her ass off here.
Cool. I love that for you. So roll charisma and expression or some other type of coercive. Yes, subterfuge would be a perfectly reasonable skill to roll too.
Okay.
You
Perfect.
are essentially selling the punch, making them believe that you've been punched.
Absolutely. Seven successes.
Wow. Okay.
It's my biggest pool.
You take the hit and spin and sort of pirouette. And as you do, your arms fling out because you've been, quote, knocked senseless. And what you do is you collapse into their arms. Like they have to grab onto you because, of course, you're flailing. And the force of the fall pushes them back a little bit. And then they have to sort of wrangle you under control, which gives you a great opportunity to kind of rage against the Constantinopolitan machine for a second. And you really, really sell it. They try to get you under control and they start hauling you inside. And of course, Ophelia has the opportunity to just slink right in alongside as they step in.
It might be a stretch, so please feel free to tell me so. But could I, with my amount of successes, have maybe tried to slip one of their keys?
Oh, I mean, 7 successes is a high amount of success. So I don't think that's unreasonable. No, I will give them a perception roll based on your subterfuge. Yes. And we'll see what they can stack up versus your roll.
Absolutely.
And they have successes, but not nearly enough to notice it. So in all of the fury and the flailing, you do manage to pull one of the guards' iron key rings out. Now I want to know where you're keeping it. Because I don't think, unless I'm mistaken, I don't know that you have a ton of pockets.
The only reasonable place to do it.
Okay. So you make use of a natural pocket. One that the designers of this outfit have outfitted you with. They're cold. The keys are very cold. But you find a place to keep them. And they drag you inside with Ophelia sort of bringing up the rear in that regard. You see the space, which is very basic. So inside these 2 doors, there's it kind of looks like a market space. And essentially it is a 10 by maybe like 10 space that has a desk at it with chairs to the right. And then there are walls with doors. So the walls have been built by wood slat and there are doors that are set into them. And there are tiny bars that let you see into that space. And you can hear a bunch of people's voices from inside. And there's a man to your right. And then there are guards at each one of these doors. So there's collectively a total of about 5 people in here now, plus you and Ophelia. And they look like they're just sort of playing cards.
I imagine I'm trying to first act a little dazed from the punch I got, but then once they started dragging me towards the different rooms, I start acting up a little bit more and start making a little bit more of a ruckus, more in a way to show whatever crew is in the rooms already, like let them hear that there's a little commotion going on and feel like, I swear you should not have given that fucking punch. God, and I'm like, oh yeah, touching my cheek.
Right.
Fucking hurt, you bitch.
You continue to sell it. Ophelia, what are you doing? Like the other guards that are in here are sort of coming around and like getting a hold on Thea, and they're putting her in a chair, getting ready to put her in a chair, and you can see them like going for manacles, and there's a whole process, not due process, but process, which is starting here.
How many guards are there?
Oh, there are 5.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
There are 5. Let me back up. There are 5 mortal guards here. Mortal.
Oh. I'm less concerned now. I want to activate. I want to spend a blood point and activate celerity.
Okay.
And I want to.
So the bad things start.
Yes, I want to start knocking guards out.
Okay, hacking. So I'll ask. Spend your blood point for celerity.
Okay.
We can do a reasonably light initiative, because unless the people from outside, because remember the doors which were open that lead into this space have not shut yet, and so once all this starts up, Emerenzia and Genevieve, who are outside, can see this. There's some sort of thing going on in here, and then what they're going to see is Ophelia sort of begin rapidly moving. So if everyone wants to be a part of what is going to take place in here, all of you can roll initiative. I will roll for the guards.
Please tell me what rolling initiative is.
No problem. So you're going to roll a single D10. You're going to take the value of your dex and your wits. You're going to add them together as just a single total number. So if your dex plus wits dice were, say, 7, and I rolled a D10 and I rolled a 5, your initiative would be 12.
That's actually very close. My initiative is 13.
Mine is 12.
I'm a 10 in all things.
Genevieve has a 10, or Marie has a 10.
Marie.
16 with my celerity.
Yeah, I figured it would be slightly higher. Okay. The guards go on 6. If they even get a chance
I'm
to
so
act.
sorry for them.
I'm not.
So
No, me neither.
certainly, celerity will go first. That's just kind of how it works. So where would you like to begin? And then are you choosing to split dice pools, etc., or
Yeah.
spend blood to overcome it?
I'm gonna spend blood for multiple actions.
Okay, so spend a point.
Okay. And I'm just gonna throw punches.
Mhm.
I'm looking to essentially I'm looking to try to knock out or incapacitate, and I'm starting with the ones that are gonna try to be shackling.
Yep, go ahead. It's Dex Brawl.
Our pirate queen. Okay.
Oh, she's the queen now. Okay. Got upgraded. Not just Captain Queen. We got to get you a little
I like them.
crown.
I like them. I like them. They can stay.
So yeah, if you're spending for extra actions, you'll get 3 total Dex Brawl actions.
Okay. So 3, 4, and 4
As far as
successes.
Okay.
Successes per roll.
Okay.
So 3 successes, and then 4 successes, and then 4 successes.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to roll strength plus 2 dice, and then after you're done, add the potence number as automatics.
Okay. 4. Or
Okay.
do you want me to roll them individually, or did you want me to just roll
No, I
one
want
roll?
you to roll them individually.
Okay. So. 4, 5, and 3.
Okay.
I have a lot of dice for
Mhm.
that roll.
Okay. So just so you're aware, you are using your
Oh.
bones. So
Oh,
what?
right. So it would be 4, 5, and 5.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay. It's fine. So before you really can get your feet under you, Thea, before you get a chance to really begin to struggle against these guards, you watch the one that's holding your right arm, you watch the back of his uniform get pushed through the front of his body. And then the man who's on your left, the helm he's wearing gets crumpled into the side of his skull as his body flies against the far wall. And then I suppose one of the last three gets punched against the wall where these doors are at. And you hear a sickening crack from basically from the lower spinal column area all the way up to his, to that C bones here in the neck. There's a full length of celery that gets cracked all the way up. And so now, because Ophelia has decided to engage in some fisticuffs, I'm going to have her roll self-control. Because when Bruja get really ramped up, they can frenzy. They get angry really fast. And she's had an awful lot of emotions tonight.
So my self-control is 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled a 2 and 2 1s.
Well, that's not good.
No.
Okay. Well, so let's talk about frenzy. Because frenzy is fun. Who doesn't like to talk about frenzy, really?
Right.
States of being. All right. Physical. Let's see here. I always like to double check some of this a little bit. I want to make sure if there is... Okay, so a player whose character is in the midst of frenzy, which you're about to be, you can choose to spend a willpower to control one action for one turn. So you could spend a will right now to not absolutely lose control.
Nah.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a choice. People made choices. Very good. So, there's a whirling dervish in the room pounding these guards. And you are in the midst of a whirlwind. And that whirlwind is a Bruja's rage. That's 16. And so now on 13, Emerenzia, you see Ophelia begin to lose control of herself.
Better now than later, in my opinion. So I'm just going to go on into that building. I'm not worried about performing my butt off for these guards to sell anything. There won't be much left to sell anything too soon. So what I'm going to do instead is on one of the broken pieces of celery on the floor now, try to see if there's any keys so I can go start freeing crew members.
I love the idea that Tia probably jingles as she moves in the chair, but that's a totally separate matter. You can begin certainly patting down the celery stacks, as we're calling them now, for keys. I think it's reasonable that several of them would likely have keys. So you do find a couple of keys, although you're not sure what they're for.
Sure. I'll gather all the keys I find so that next chance I have, I can go start trying to find cells that they go to. Hopefully.
Fabulous. That is your action. And so, Captain, what you up to?
I think you mean queen, actually, but I'll let it slip for now. Yeah, my original idea was also to start freeing my crew. However, seeing as there is a raging whirlwind in this hallway right now, I don't just yet want to release my crew into this. So, I think I will try to aid in taking care of the guards by using feral weapons.
Okay.
Yes.
So feral weapons gives you the ability to sprout something from your body, long claws, and use that as a weapon. So let's see here. Double check the gift. And that's going to be under Protean. Yeah, go for it.
Yes. So my hands and feet get claws. So I imagine that from my leather shoes, little claws are poking out, which will be holes later on.
Yeah,
And
I'll say that
will.
you have control over that. So if you
Okay.
if you don't want them to poke out from your boots, they don't have to. If you only want to use your hands.
I don't need feet claws right now. I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I will just go with the regular ones and try to. Honestly, I think the best plan of action here is looking at Ophelia right now. I'm pretty certain that she will be able to take care of them. I just need to, in some way, incapacitate some that they're like in a disadvantage towards her. So I will just try to sweep them off their feet or something. I don't necessarily aim to kill because I'm pretty sure there's already one in this room who's doing that exact thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's true. That's just a dex brawl, really, to get them off their feet.
Okay.
But it would definitely be noticeable that the claws are long enough that they're noticeable.
So do ones subtract successes?
They only canceled tens in this case.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. Then I got 2 successes.
Okay.
And I don't know if. Well, I'm not doing damage really, so I don't think potence has anything to do with it.
Yeah, you're not doing damage, so you don't have to worry about that. But you do have a material success against and over what they have. So you are able to essentially, you take the claws, you stretch your arm out and sort of rip into their leg, not to do damage, but you can get into the leather of their uniform and their boots and pull this guy off his feet. Okay. And so that leaves us to Marie or Genevieve on 10.
All right. And I see what's going on. I mean, I can hear the commotion, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. You hear and see the commotion.
All right. So I am going to move into there and use. Because the Thea's crew is still locked up, right?
They are. Yep.
Okay. Cool. I mean, not cool. We'll get to that. Can I use my Obtenebration?
You could.
Obtenebration.
10, yes.
And I'd like to use. I'd like to use Nocturne.
Okay. You're going to call forth the darkness.
Yep. And I know, depending on your successes, for those at home who may not know what Nocturne is, it summons forth darkness. The Sombra can summon a withering cloud of supernatural darkness. To engulf an area and obscure all sources of light. So it might help us, do our thing. So depending on my successes is how big it gets.
Right. It's manipulation occult, difficulty 7.
Yep.
And this is a power which you could spend willpower to make sure you have a material success as well.
Doesn't look like I have to spend a blood point for this, so it's cool. Said I can spend a willpower.
You could if you wanted to.
It's an automatic success for that. Okay. So I'll spend a willpower. Let me note that down. Sorry, folks.
No, it's okay. The only time you have to spend a blood point for this is if you're trying to summon darkness in a space you can't see.
Yeah, for awe or whatever, we have to spend a blood point, which is all right, so oh my gosh. Manipulation occult.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Five successes, and that's including my willpower spent.
Okay, so it starts out as 10 feet with the first success, and then you basically add 10 feet for every success thereafter. So you could create a inky cloud of blackness, which is 40 feet. So that would encompass not only this space, but the space beyond, like in and back through the rooms, all of that.
Yep. That's what I want.
Okay, so a couple things happen. One, everybody is plunged into darkness. Everybody. All of the torches are snuffed out immediately. Also, this is your first time using Nocturne, isn't it? Okay.
It is. Yes.
Okay. So everything goes dark. You even hear people for a moment scream, and then they become very muffled. But that's your action. So for the frenzying Bruja, because the last guard who was up now is not able to breathe, because of course Nocturne is up and he's mortal. What are you doing there, Bruja? Frenzying Bruja.
I want to rip cells off of doors.
I love it. You got to find them. Also, I would say that if you're trying to do a directed action, which is not basically one of two things, either kill or flee, you're going to need to spend a willpower point.
I'll spend a willpower. That's totally fine.
So you stay frenzy off. You get a little bit of clarity. And if you want to go to one of the doors, you can. But you're going to have to find your way there because, again, everything is dark. Everything. And the only person that can see in the darkness is the person who created it.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with moving quickly around and feeling for doors and then just ripping at things.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm still very emotionally worked up.
Sure. Okay, so what I'll say is you can certainly make I'm going to have you make a dex brawl roll against the door. I'm going to increase the difficulty from 6 to 7. And I'm going to say materially that you need 3 successes to do so in darkness. So I'm essentially giving you a difficulty raise and then a 2-die. I don't want to use the word complication because that's not the word that they would use in this system. But essentially, it's a barrier of entry.
I meet the 3.
Okay. So undaunted by the darkness, you move from the space that you were in and you basically slam into the wooden wall that's here that you know that there is a door at. You find the door handle, you reach up and you reach into the bars that exist in that little window space to look back, and you grab both of them and pull. And everybody who's here doesn't see it. Actually, Genevieve's the only one who sees it. You watch Ophelia rip the door off the hinges of this place. You hear very lightly sort of like an iron groaning sound. It's definitely subdued, though. And you pitch the door as it is no longer useful. And that's your action.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going to worry about extra actions at this point if the people that I was planning on killing are incapacitated, or already dead. Either way.
Right.
But yeah, like that rage and sorrow and all of these things are still coursing through me, and I need to release it somehow. So the next best thing is, beating the shit out of the environment.
So for our kindred in this space, anybody who has heightened senses, so if they have Auspex 1, or if you have the Dark Sight merit, you take only a 2 dice penalty while you are in this space. And because of all of the successes that Genevieve got on her Nocturne roll, this is something for the player to make sure that they understand is every time you have a success on Nocturne, if a mortal character is in that space and they don't have that number of stamina dice, they pass out.
And in this instance, that's perfect.
It is. Let's just remember, though, how big the darkness is.
Oh, and I didn't even ask Thea if she had any mortal crew.
Oh,
We'll have to carry them. Or I'll have to get rid of
as long as
cloud.
they're not dead.
I love choices and consequences. That's the fun part of Vampire. A really Vinny game. Okay. So you don't have any combatants that are still fighting you. So I'm going to take us out of rounds. I'll ask for a self-control roll from Ophelia, though.
Okay. I continue to have no successes.
Okay, you continue to frenzy unless you're spending willpower actively. Actually, it's for 1 turn, so you actually have technically 9 more rounds that you're, quote, okay, until the beast is going to come by and mess with your brain again. Unless someone wants to help talk Ophelia off the ledge, so to speak. No? Okay. Love that.
Don't do it.
Love that.
It's not my place to. I would expect the others to, maybe, but
If she seems like she's about to start taking it out on any of the crew members we're liberating, then I will stop her. But if she is just destroying this customs office to get her very justified set of feelings out of her system before we're all cooped up on a ship together, yeah, okay. That seems healthier.
Yeah, okay.
For all of us, actually. It seems healthier for her to get that out now.
Yeah, the willpower point will give you the opportunity to sort of direct your rage, which you did already at the door. Are you just going to continue to destroy the customs office?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I'm going to continue. Basically, any doors that I encounter are going to suffer my wrath.
Okay.
Until I encounter more people.
Ophelia, the door destroyer.
Yeah.
I do feel like we shouldn't leave any of those guards alive for what they have now seen here.
Okay.
Did they have weapons on them?
Yeah, absolutely. They would have been armed.
Okay. I'm going to they're unconscious, so I assume that this is more of a coup de grace sort of a situation.
If you're going
but I am
to,
going to,
yeah, if you're going to kill them, there's no roll.
Yeah, I'm going to take weapons off of one and kill the next one and just make sure all of them
Yeah.
so nobody remembers Ophelia going absolutely ham on their compatriots.
Yeah. I mean, the 3 that Ophelia encountered I will use air quotes there, encountered at the start of this, you have no reason to even go near or touch them because they've been handled pretty well.
The ones that Thea incapacitated, though, could
Yeah.
wake up later, and that sounds like a liability.
Thea, you can hear your crew
Hey.
in the background. You can hear the sound of sort of concerned voices from your crew, given that
Yeah.
half of the customs office is completely encased in inky darkness.
Yeah. Unless you say otherwise, I do imagine that all of the crew are humans, but they would be aware of what Thea is. Like, it's not something she would have kept a secret,
Mhm.
but I would imagine that they're all human.
Yeah, I would imagine several of them are human. You might have a ghoul, which is sort of like your first mate, as someone
Yeah.
you can trust that maybe can keep the crew in line. But I leave that to your devices if that's how you'd like it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Great.
Yeah, I would have dissipated my spell once I heard the gagging of the guards and them passing out.
Yep. Can't have people gagging too long now.
Nope.
So you you dissipate your gift of oblivion, and Nocturne drops. The regular space comes back in full color, and there are an awful lot of crew members here that look like they're sleeping.
Okay. I'll turn to Murray. I'm assuming they're sleeping and you didn't actually kill my crew members.
No, I did. As far as I know.
Perfect. There
Far as
was
I
some
know.
hesitation there, but
That was my first time.
Look, I love the vibe of you experimenting here and finding yourself. Maybe don't do it on my crew members next time, but I love the intent of it. Now help me carry them out.
Absolutely.
There's quite a few to carry out, but you begin doing so. Some of the crew is alive and awake, and they react to seeing their captain back, and they begin to sort of cheer. And Ophelia is busy, dealing with some of these bars. Emerenzi, you do have an opportunity to use the key to unlock some of these bars, so that has become useful. Once like 5 or 6 crew members get rolling, then like suddenly there's 20 crew members that are like in a space. They're all ready to go, and they're eager to get back to the Seawolf.
Okay. Y'all I'll unlock anything that the keys work on, and then when we were outside and looking around the place a little bit, is there any form of like wagon or carriage or anything that these people use to bring their arrested folk to here? Like, is there some form of vehicle or transportation?
They may have walked them here. You are in the harbor area, so maybe they walked them here. But you figure, and it's much more likely that maybe there would be like an open top wagon that they would sit people in.
Sweet. Once people are freed, I'll start looking for one of those for all the incapacitated people we're bringing with us.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't take you long. You eventually find it. It's on the other side. The ship, I should say the sea side of the building. It's sitting there waiting. There's no horse here, but the wagon's here.
Okay. Enough healthy crew members mixed with Ophelia and Genevieve, I think we can move a wagon without a horse. And I think it'll still be easier than trying to carry all these people as dead weight just between folk all the way back.
I also just imagine it's so funny. And it catches more attention if you're like dragging a lot of people, like carrying them. It catches less attention if you put them all on a wagon and start pushing the wagon.
They're all drunk. We're bringing them back from the pub.
Right. Right.
I don't know if they call it the pub in Constantinople, but
Sure.
you know what?
Pub,
calling it the pub.
tavern. There's probably a million words for establishments like that.
Some form of watering hole.
Oh,
You're right.
and just to establish it as well, I'm sure we plunder whatever we can from the guards in the station there
Oh, yeah.
on our way out.
There's a ton of customs. I mean, it depends on how you want to plunder, right? So, like, it could be a situation where you plunder documents. You could try to plunder silver. There's resources here if that's what you're looking for.
Yes, I don't personally care for documents, but anything that we can sell in the next town we're in is perfect.
Great. Okay. We'll say that you have a collection that has been taken up from the customs office here. You are getting the wagon loaded up with sundry items, with sailors, and I'm imagining you're going to try to find a horse.
I think, I mean, we can. I think we just established that we would try to, with the help of our lovely kindred, to try and just carry the wagon ourselves. It would be easier if there were just like coincidentally a horse around, that would be great. But
Sure, if we see
we have a
stealable
plan B.
horses along the way.
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
But how far are we even from the ship? How far are we from the Seawolf?
No, I mean, not terribly far, as far as you know. Thea, you would know it's probably docked about 10 or so berths down. It's going to be a 10-minute or so walk to get there. You could likely push this wagon into movement. At least, certainly Ophelia could push this wagon into movement if she needed to. Or you could maybe leash Genevieve up to it. I don't know. It's totally a possibility as well.
I don't mind pulling anything.
Okay, perfect. Then you two are on pulling duty until we actually find a horse, which we might, and you might get lucky, and that 10-minute walk will become shorter.
It is about that time before you go that I would love if you would roll me perception awareness.
Uh, 3 successes.
The air here is heavy with a lot of different scents. Certainly the open sea. The harbor district has its own set of scents and smells. But there is a scent that you pick up that you know quite well. And then you hear from a corner nearby a voice. His voice. And the voice says, I see you've gotten far. You watch as an armored figure walks out. One you know well. Actually, one all of you know well. His tabard swaying in the breeze. His perhaps slight but sturdy frame. His tufted ears.
Thomas.
It is Thomas.
I just kind of
It's
smirk.
so unlike you to just sit by and not do anything and watch.
I am doing something. Just not here. Just not this.
But still within this city as a big thing, I suppose.
Choices. They matter. I made mine.
Where are my manners?
Yes, probably still out to sea.
Please, new crew members, allow me to introduce you to Sir Thomas Kent.
Oh, we are well acquainted.
He steps further forward. Yes. Happy to see you here in the city. I see your apparel has not changed. Still living the life of a pirate.
Still doing whatever I want to do. And yes, at this moment, that is being a pirate still. Who's to say how long it'll still take?
I would think with the impounding of the ship, you had taken that as a hint.
You surely wouldn't have anything to do with that now, would you?
I wanted you to have the life of a lady, one of court, and one of field as well. But we all walk our own path.
Okay. Whew. Good. For a second there, I thought that I would have to do some things I really wouldn't like doing. So I'm happy you didn't do anything. Well, you also didn't do anything to stop them. But then I guess I should actually be thankful for that because in some way, you see me as a big enough girl to take care of myself there.
I've always thought you were a big enough girl to take care of yourself. I'm certain you'll be wrecking the high seas once again in short order. What I would like to know is how you three got mixed up with her.
Oh, Thomas, we were introduced by the Dama as her being a friend of a friend, and we are well, doing a friend of a friend a favor and also maybe going on a little trip with her. So,
A trip, really? You've picked a good time.
depending on what you mean by that, that might not be coincidental.
Well, I will work to clean this up. He sort of gestures back at the customs house. I wouldn't want anyone catching wind of anything monstrous happening.
Thank you, Thomas. That saves me a trip from coming back here before we might need to depart.
But it would tell quite a tale, though, wouldn't it?
Yes, the exact types of tales we don't want told.
I'm reminded why I left. It's way easier on the sea, you know. A lot more explanations for this kind of stuff. Sea monsters, all those kinds of myths.
Never know. Sea monsters might be real too.
If they are, I surely hope to meet one day, and then I can tell you all about it.
Good. He almost seems to not struggle, but he seems to adjust. You're not used to seeing him wearing this much armor. Like normally he's basically wearing chain and a tabard, but he actually has on like plate pauldrons and like vambraces and actual metal pieces of armor. Some stuff that you would be very familiar with, almost intimately in some ways, Genevieve. You've worn armor before. And it certainly takes up an it takes a certain amount of time to get used to it.
What's with the getup? I mean, you're making comments on my outfit. Surely I'm allowed the same back.
Certainly. A call has been raised through some of the Latin Quarter and other channels that there may be a need for a defense of the city, and I am here to stand in defense of Constantinople.
Of course you would. It's a noble thing to do.
There are some people here worth saving.
Well, then we will surely make it so that we're not in the way of any of your noble deeds.
No, I expect by the time you next slumber, you'll be far out to sea with machinations of your own.
I like the idea of that, actually. Yes, I think I would much rather do that. But do you have fun with, and she does a little hand gesture around this and saving the whole city, getting everyone's gratitude, yada yada, those kinds of things. Surely sound riveting as well, actually. Absolutely riveting. I'll add in to the more in tune people among the new kindred that while it does sound snarky, there doesn't seem to be any bad blood in her voice or anything that she's saying. Like, it's not like she's talking to this person as an enemy. It's more of a snarky thing, but no actual, oh, I wish this person harm in the voice, as far as you can tell.
Playful.
In all our years together, manners were one thing I could not teach you, child.
Thomas, I must say, it is nice getting to see you again before we leave. Good luck with everything happening here. And just remember that you're worthwhile too. I know that you don't need saving, so I'm not going to word it that way. I hope that you're still here the next time I am. That's
And if not, perhaps we will see you wherever the road travels next.
I think it's funny because she's a little more than a foot shorter than him, so she's just going to be looking straight up at Thomas.
Right. Right.
But wherever the road, or I guess ship, travels next. Indeed.
I'll walk up to Thomas and like take both of his hands.
Okay. You take these huge gauntleted hands. Not huge,
Yeah.
but just. What is it?
Please continue to look after my master, if you would. He mentioned that you warned him earlier about the earth being troubled. Please
Yes.
look after him since he's not coming with me.
I will. I will. You should get, all of you, if it is Michael's wrath coming, you do not wish to be in the streets for it.
Luckily, we have a boat to catch, actually. She will also, after Ophelia walked up to him and did that and then stepped back, she will also walk up to Thomas and take up one of his hands
Mm-hmm.
and do the actually gentlemanly move of raising it up and giving a kiss on the back of it.
Hmm.
And she will say, if you had ever managed to teach me manners, I would not be the person I am today. And that would kind of be a shame, now wouldn't it?
It would. There is a beast in you I appreciate still. The courts of Europe might not. Sail well.
And it's good that I remain on the sea then, with those who can appreciate it. I'll see you around at some place, I'm sure.
You will.
Come on, then. This wagon is not going to carry itself to the boat, actually.
I'm just standing there holding the thing like,
You're like, I've been waiting this whole time, bitch. You had to have
Yeah.
this conversation.
tic tac, tic tac. Yeah.
The wagon gets moving again, and you get down to the Seawolf. Now, unlike the custom spot, the city of Constantinople doesn't have guards to watch every single ship. A ship without its crew, a ship which is moored, isn't going to just run away. It needs an awful lot of people. This is a proud ship. It is not a massive galleon by any means. It's not some massive ship, but it is a vessel. And it probably takes about 10 to 15 people to really get it moving. By the time the crew gets down there in the wagon, they have roused again. And your first mate, Zachariah, is a man from the Mediterranean space. And he's been all over. And it does not take him long to get the crew moving back to the ship to get the Seawolf ready. By this time, it's about 3 a.m. or so. There's been about an hour or so delay in this. And you, while are not seeing the beginning of early morning, you know that all of you know instinctively that it is coming. You'll make your preparations to depart. I wonder, though, as we get ready to put this session in wraps, I wonder if there's anything anyone else is doing before we get to that point.
Probably go give the bishop his blood.
Indeed. Okay. So, yeah, we can move camera really quick and give you the opportunity to do that. You'll have to hustle back to the chapel while the ship is being made ready. So you get back to the church. And it does not take you terribly long to find, you run into multiple members of Clan Lasombra. Although it does appear that there are quite a few less of them here now. You see Isabella. You do not see Casilda here. And you do eventually run into the bishop, who's in his personal chambers downstairs.
I bow deeply. Sire,
Yes, child, what is it? Have you brought me what I asked for?
I have blood that the Dama was keeping.
So she did have it.
I hold up the satchel.
He takes it from you and sets it on the table. Have you felt the change in the city?
I have. It's unsettled. Like something is coming.
And something is here. It is simply waking. The dreamer, he will wake. And for us, this means we must disperse. There are strict laws in this city about how many kindred may shelter within its walls. And so I've sent the clan to other spaces, other cities, to stretch our influence.
That is most wise, sire. I have a ship.
You have a ship.
Well, not personally. I've been offered passage on a ship. I could spread our story wide and far, far and wide.
You could indeed. You will, of course, make monthly contact with me here by letter.
Yes, sir.
Advise me of anything that you are doing. And also, you will work to further the clan. Let me give you this before you go. He extends from within his robes a book. It's small. It almost looks like a prayer book. It's bound in black leather, and on the front of it there is an imprint, a marking. You're not really sure of what the symbol is, but it is a sort of stylization. There's a grand circle, an arc at the top of it, and there's different imprints and almost like filigree markings that are inside of it. And then there is this beautiful Spanish L in the middle. It's Gothic and beautiful. And he says, I've written a certain amount of important historical notes on our clan. You must take these and shepherd them. You will be without Isabella or Casilda for some time. But I will never be far from you. You will hear my voice through the void. For we are all linked in darkness.
I come around the side of the desk and I lean down really closely to the bishop. I just plant one simple kiss on his lips.
That's likely his reaction. He seems socially taken aback, maybe just a little. It's not unpleasant for him. He looks at you in the eye, and you can almost in your mind feel his presence. You feel at first the dread of domination, but there's no fear realized. And he says, whenever you dream, walk the shadow walk and find me, so we may continue your instruction.
Because he's got some serious hold over her. She doesn't know what it is. She doesn't know if it could be because he exudes power and she craves that. And not necessarily power of the La Sombra, but just power over people. And so anything she can learn from him just furthers her knowledge to be able to get what she wants.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
I'm a little hurry. He didn't like my kiss, but here we are. I was friend zoned by the bishop.
I mean, I can think back to scenes that you've had with the bishop that were not so friend zoned.
Oh, for sure.
So-
For sure.
Those were the benefits that come with the friendship, Michael.
Relationship complicated.
Yes,
That's
100%.
why I've changed my status too.
100%.
Am I allowed to have a final word with I guess actually it would make sense both Emerizia and Ophelia as they are left in the ship while
Yeah.
Marie is off to
Certainly.
her sire.
Go right ahead.
I imagine that if you're sticking around there, obviously immediately you're also put to work in some way, even if that's lifting stuff back onto the ship, or helping in some other way. Maybe Emerencia, you're not the one who can physically help a lot, but I'll explain a few things on the ship, at least because I'm imagining you've never had a life at sea. So this is all very new to you. And I don't know if Ophelia, if you have had any experience either, but I'll try to give you a small rundown and also basically say that, well, now that you are going to be part of the crew for the foreseeable few nights, you're going to have to find your place to work as well. That can be a lot of things. We have human crew after all as well who needs to be taken care of. You can do cleaning on the ship. You can do heavy lifting. You can even help cook for the mortal ones. Anything you feel like would be your specialty, you can use. But you'll have to use something. We don't take freeloaders here either.
Does your ship already have a shantyman on it? The person on the ship who leads everybody else in songs while they work to keep them on task.
Well, I pretend to take a list out of my name and scroll it open, open up a scroll as if I'm looking at it. Well, look at this. It just so happens that position was recently put on vacant. So I guess
Well-
you're in luck.
Well, then I will help keep the work going. Should I be needed elsewhere, I will do what I can, but I guess you have a new shantyman for now.
Glad to have you on board, Shantyman. And I turn to Ophelia.
Just put me to use.
No,
Like-
actually,
Like
I don't
Ophelia is
think-
like in a heavy depression. She
Yeah, I
doesn't
know.
have very high opinions right now
I know.
of like things to do.
No, actually, I don't think I will. I think I will expect you to do whatever you think you're useful in because we don't do freeloaders again. But see, I'm not going to be your new master. I know that's not what you're looking for. Even then, I'm saying I'm not going to be your new master here. I'm not going to have anyone on this ship order you around. Whatever you do on this ship, you're going to be choosing yourself. And you better get used to that. And actually, I'm feeling wise right now. Both of you should get used to the feeling that you're going to have in the upcoming few nights. Because there's going to be no one ordering you to do anything. You're going to help. It's because people ask it if you want to help. If you don't, we don't do high and mighty master and subservient stuff here.
Not even when asked nicely?
I think you're both going to learn a lesson here on the seas. And I think, again, blood ties will always be there. You'll find them again. You'll see them again. You won't be able to escape unless you're looking for final death, which I would rather you don't do on the ship. It's a bad reputation kind of thing. But in the meantime, you could try finding yourself. It's nice sometimes. And the seas are a perfect situation to do that.
Okay. Genevieve, you'll end up returning to the ship. The Sea Wolf begins to depart. And as a coda for our session, as the Sea Wolf launches itself back into the open water, you get the briefest of glimpse of the lightning of that dark sky, which plunges our trio far under deck, so that way they can hide from the coming sun. Luckily for the Sea Wolf, it has a competent and well-educated crew, which can lead it during the daytime. So I would love to thank our guest for coming and playing. But as we round out, I'll allow each one of them to let us know what they're up to, where we can find them, and any fun special projects that they can talk about that are in the way. So we'll just go through regular introduction order for this.
Hi, I'm Morgan, or goodbye, whatever. I'm Morgan. I've been playing Genevieve / Marie this evening. Your neighborhood friendly La Sombra vampire. And you can find me on the Old Ways podcast. I'm on several different things on there, from Children of the Periphery and Adventures in Dragon Pass for RuneQuest, and the upcoming God's Teeth, which is Delta Green, which is a phenomenal. And yeah, and you can also find me on Blue Sky at Jedi_girl and on Discord. And I could probably say some other stuff, but Astrid, it was really great playing with you. You are amazing. I had a great time. I mean, obviously my Ghoulie girls are also amazing, and Michael, you're okay too. But Astrid, it was really fun to play with you. I hope to do that again sometime.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Bunny. I play the overly friendly neighborhood Toreador vampire, Amorenzia. In addition to being a cast member of the Old Ways in games like this one and Mage and the upcoming Silver Screams, you've seen me in chat and in the Old Ways Discord as Fiery Ashes. I am a full-time variety streamer. I stream 4 or 5 days a week on my own channel, should you ever want to come by and check out my content. I also have a 5-day long charity event coming up starting on May 1st called Gamont and Lupus, benefiting the Lupus Foundation of America. And it's super important to me. I work on it both myself and with the LFA as one of their moderators all year round. And the culmination of all that hard work is coming back up again. So if you want to support a good cause, get to know me a little better or anything like that, come on by, come hang out. And I hope to see you around.
Awesome.
I'm Allie, and I've been playing Ophelia, the Fury that was Bruja this episode, and I'm a cast member of the Old Ways podcast, and I'm over on the Discord, and I am in the Delta Green games, and I am in Mage the Ascension.
For sure. And our guest, Astrid.
Hi, I'm Syrinx, she, her. It's been a pleasure to be on here as Thea Gangrel. You can find me on all the socials as Syrinx, just as such. And the only thing that I think would be fun to share is the fact that later on in May, the weekend of the 23rd to 25th of May, I'll be in Los Angeles doing the Darkness Emergent Vampire LARP. So if anyone listening to this who's also going to be there, it would be fun. I'll see you all there. But until then, it was a pleasure to be on here. Thank you so much.
And thank you to all of the viewers and the folks in chat tonight. Super appreciative of all of your help and assistance, and we'll see you next time.